Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7, and I am back with one of last week's daily races at Spa with dynamic weather in Group 4. This was a brilliant race. I think this has been one of the top 5 races we have had so far on Gran Turismo 7 with regards to daily races. It was a really fun one. It wasn't always raining, and even in the dry races we had some great races. If you haven't watched it already, we have an absolutely brilliant race with Aura, who's starting from P1 in this race. We had a brilliant dry race with him, absolutely amazing stuff to watch. So if you haven't checked that one out, go and watch that one as well. But this is in the wet. If you enjoy this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think of this race in the comment section. So it's starting dry, as you can see. There is a little bit of rain on the radar. You can see it in the bottom right, and that's not going to hit the track at the moment. So everyone starting on dry tyres. One thing I do wish that we had on Gran Turismo 7 was some form of weather forecasting ability at the start of the race, which gave you a percentage chance at different phases of the race of rain. Just a percentage chance, a bit like F1 games used to do. I think that would be quite beneficial for strategy and stuff like that. But at the moment, we just have to make do with this radar and kind of predict what's going on, because it moves so fast, a little bit too quick in my view. It's quite hard to judge what's going to happen. But everyone's starting on hard tyres, because at this combination, it was with the endurance pit layout, as we're going to go through moves on rivs, up the inside there, a lot of two wides going on there, into the tight right hand corner, and then see him go side by side with Fusa. Fusa's going to have the inside line for the next corner, so we're going to have to back out of that and then just try and stay ahead of rivs, which we managed to do there, keeping ourselves up into P4. So yeah, this was the endurance layout. Pit lane loss was around 50 seconds of loss of time, so to do any form of pit stop on this combination was going to lose you massive amounts of time. So people will be very unlikely to pit unless they have to, because you lose too much time. Now, same thing with even if it was raining at the start of the race, a lot of people were choosing to start on the hard tyre, just put up with the loss of time and not go in the pits. Now, different people, different strategies. You can see we got a little bit of rain coming in on the radar at the moment, but again, you're going to see that no one is going to pit this lap through small amount of rain like that, because when it's a light green coloured like that, that means no rain. It just means moisture in the air. The darker blue is what you're looking for potential hazards on the track, when it's going to cause a little bit of chaos. But even then, none of what we see at the moment is going to require us to pit. There's not enough information there. We're not seeing enough on that radar, and you can see no one is going to pit off that. So we're all going to go around for another lap. You can see going through the final corner, nobody is going to pit, because it's just not worth pitting when you look at that. It's not enough rain. It's not really going to cause, you're not going to benefit off that at all. So over the start finishing line, and no one's decided to pit here. But you can see as the weather's coming up, it is looking like it's going to get worse. It's coming at a slight angle from the bottom of the map, and it could be getting a little bit heavier, but we'll see how that develops as we start lap 2 in P4. Behind Fusa, we've got Bradley also in P2, a top split driver, or a top split driver in P1. Quite a ranked lobby this, to be honest. There was a few decent drivers in it, and we're working our way up the hill onto the main straight, and now we can see some more heavy rain coming up. You can see it on the radar now. This is starting to look like possible chaos is going to develop, because we can see the blue and it's going to hit the track. I zoom in, you can see I'm trying to see the path that it's going on, and that is looking like this track is going to get a little bit wet. So we're going to have a little look up the inside of Fusa. Can we go for a move up into third? He's going to go around the left and try and hold the inside. We're going to give him the space on the inside, and that is up into P3. So great racing there, up into P3, and now we've got Bradley and Aura in front of us. One in the McLaren, one also in the Sylvia, the same as us. Sylvia looking very good in Group 4, by the way. Also McLaren. I think McLaren and Sylvia are looking like two very, very good cars in Group 4 at the moment. It's great to see the McLaren back up there, I have to say. I do love that the McLaren is back as a usable car in Group 4. So as we're coming through here now, you can see that rain is starting to drop. You can see it on the tyre telemetry there. The track is getting wet now, and you can actually see it coming down. It's starting to get a little bit heavier, and this track is going to start getting wet, and you can see this track is going to get really wet, because look at that big blue part on the radar. That is hitting right on the track, and this race is going to come into a little bit of chaos. I think a little bit of chaos is going to develop here as we're working around on lap 2 towards the end now, and you're going to see we're starting to take it cautious, because the tyre telemetry is telling us that we're at the limit of what this car can do on the dry tyres. Pretty much we're into intermediate conditions now, so it's extremely slow through here. Everyone's slowing down. You can see the rear of my car getting really twitchy. I'm taking it super careful through here. I'm not going to take any risk because it's not worth it. You can see I'm going to lift off extremely early for this corner because I see two cars straight ahead of me, both aquaplaning off into the barrier. So these conditions now are treacherous. They are awful. You can see I'm going so slow through here. I'm understeering. I've got no grip at all. We're off wide. We're going to have dirty tyres from that, and dirty tyres in wet conditions is a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. So into the final corner, I decided now I'm pitting because I can see more rain coming up. It's going to get even wetter. You can see it's getting close to the edge of the track there. It's going to miss us, but it's still going to rain a little bit. So I decide it's time to go for a pit. We're losing a lot of time here. I'm going to take a risk. No one else is really going to do this risk. You can see everyone else, because of the pit lane loss here, it's a huge risk to do this. And I thought, I'm going to go for it because it might work out. If there's a lot of chaos going on, as we're going to watch what goes on as I go into pits. Calster trying to slow the car down, but there's just no braking ability in these conditions. You can see he's going to get reset to track. Absolute chaos going on in front of us. Cars spinning. There's another car going into the pit lane following myself. I'm not sure who that was that decided to go for a pit, but one more car, myself and one other car decided to go for a pit stop. And yeah, this is going to get very interesting. But you can see the lack of grip that they've got. This is looking very good for me, who's just pitted there onto the who's going for the pit stop on the intermediate tyres. You can see in the braking zone, cars going wide. We've got no real speed on acceleration. Calston managing to get a bit of grip out of the traction zone and accelerating down now to start his lap. But you're going to keep an eye in the distance in a moment. We're going to zoom on and we're going to watch Fusa as we come through here. You're going to see Fusa in the distance, a massive moment again, aquaplaning into the walls, spinning off the walls, and that's going to be some damage for him and a loss of time again. And now Calster's going to have to go left here to avoid Fusa. And again, look at the way the car is moving around, not able to put the power down, only going 68 miles per hour at this point in the track. So a lot of the time that we have probably lost in the pit stop, we're nearly getting back already. You can see they're already 50 seconds into this lap. It's looking quite nice for us at the moment. We're going to probably be able to catch these up fairly soon. But again, you can see into the braking zone, and keep your eye out on the left-hand side here. We're going to see, I think, a car go down the left-hand side where he's missing his braking. So you see they're a bit too late on the brakes for that red Silvia on the left. And this is the thing. Everyone's battling chaos, trying to find grip. There is really no grip on the track. Turbo in the lead at the moment in a four-wheel drive car. Obviously getting a little bit of traction out of the four-wheel drive system on that car, able to make his way through the corners. We're going to go back and watch what's going on behind here with Fusa, and there's more cars battling themselves into the corner. You can see a car going down the left now, I think, and braking extremely late. I don't know what sort of I think that might have been the same car that did it before, but yeah, that was not going to work. You can't brake that late in wet conditions like that. That was just quite funny to watch. But yeah, as we're coming out the pits, we can see we're into P12. We can see a few cars that have gone in behind ourselves. So we're in P12. However, we've got grip because I'm on intermediate tyres. However, as we join the track, you're going to see that rain has started to disappear. We're pretty much over the rain now. It's not that wet on this straight now. It dries out so quick on Gran Turismo. It dries out a little bit too quick in my opinion. But that's what happens with these races that are a bit shorter. I think everything's sped up a little bit. So as we come through these corners, we can see we've got so much more grip than P11. P10's off in the track. So we're up 2 positions straight away after going in the pits for the intermediate tyres. And looking at the track map in the top right, you can see they're not that far ahead of us. This is going to get chaotic. We've got another car off in front of us, 2 cars off in front of us, another car going really slow in front of us there as well. As we're going to go past one, past another. We've got this group of cars here, all understeering, no grip at all. We're going to go up the inside of one car, and then we're going to go just round the outside of these. This was super close, just avoiding them there. Nice reactions, putting ourselves up into P4. And look at the extra grip we've got over these. No one's got grip. Calster again, paying another visit to Barrier over there, and we are up to P2. Turbo also struggling in front of us. Penalties galore because they've all been spinning, hitting barriers, God knows what else, and that is P1 already for ourselves. Now it is all about pushing and trying to build up a gap, because you can see on the radar there is no rain on this in this area now. It's going to dry out. The track is already starting to dry out. However, this part of the track is extremely wet still, and this could save us, because this part of the track being really wet is really difficult and you lose a lot of time. So you can see, look how much we've gained already. We're up to 8 seconds pretty much, and that is what is saving us. This little bit of track that is really wet, you can see at the start of the lap it was starting to dry out when we came out of the pits, but this part extremely wet still. You can still see on the telemetry there. We're still just in the intermediate conditions even on the racing line. Off the racing line, it's extremely bad. On the curbs, they're going to be having trouble on dry tyres still. So they're going to find it hard to get the pace out of the car on acceleration zones if they're going to get on that power on the curb and stuff like that. You can see the gap now up to 13 seconds, and this is looking pretty good at the moment. We've got to keep pushing, keep building that gap up. We've done 3 laps. Only 3 laps of this race have been completed so far. It's actually quite crazy that is all that's been done. We're only 3 laps into it, and all that chaos that's just gone on there. Brilliant stuff. Love these daily races. I have to say, this is why I wish we could have a few more dynamic races like this, because at the end of the day, not every race was wet. A majority of races were dry all the way through. And I think the next track that they might use would possibly be, they've gone from Le Mans, now Spa, still got quite a lot of power zones, maybe something like Fuji in Group 4, or even Suzuka in Group 4. And I wouldn't mind the Group 3 race with some dynamic weather in there. That could be really interesting. But you can see, skipping to the end of lap 4 now, and we've built that gap up to around 17.5 seconds, and it's going to creep up to around 18 seconds at its peak, just over 18 seconds, I think. So 18 seconds, halfway through the race. I'm going to go through the chicane, through the left-hand part, and you can see by the time we get to the finishing line and over the line, it's going to be around 18 seconds. So 18 seconds, 4 laps. They're on hard tyres. You can see that I'm having to search for the wet parts on the track. You can see me doing that in the race, trying to cool down the intermediate tyres. It just preserves the front tyres a little bit in these conditions, because you can see I'm driving now on almost dry conditions, and these intermediates are going to start wearing out very, very quickly. So a little bit of a tip for you, just search for the odd bit of wet line. It will help cool down the tyres in the front, and helps you keep a bit more pace. So yeah, it will help them stay alive a little bit longer. But yeah, we're at the peak there, 18 seconds, and now they are going to start catching us up. They're going to start reining that gap in and really pushing up behind us. You can see track now pretty much in dry conditions. Again, I'm going to go to the right hand side, search for a little bit of a wet spot there, just to cool them front tyres down a bit. And some people might think, oh, why are you doing that? It's Gran Turismo. But Gran Turismo does simulate tyre temperatures, so stuff like this really does help on intermediates. Helps preserve them, make them last a little bit longer. But you can see as we're pushing through here, gap is already coming down. It's down to 17.7 now, and now it's just a case of trying to push as much as we can safely without making a mistake really on these inters, because we should, as long as we can keep consistently average pace, we don't need to drive stupidly fast there, should be able to hold on for the lead. So you can see by the time we go over the line on lap 5, again searching for a bit of a cool spot on the left hand side, we're 3 laps to go and the gap is at 15 seconds. So as long as we're 5 seconds a lap quicker, we should be okay. But they're going to gradually be picking up that pace. They're going to start pushing down into low 30s and eventually into the 29s. And yeah, I did struggle a little bit on intermediates when it was in dry conditions. I couldn't really find much pace for some reason. I'm not sure why. Some people were finding more pace than others. Some people were really managing to push some pretty decent lap times out the intermediates. But again, end of lap 6, they've not gained a massive amount there. There still is, you can see they're still struggling to push them times down massively. We're only a couple of seconds off pace. I think we're going to see as they go over the line, they're going to push that down a little bit faster than the 32, or currently with the fastest lap on a 2-minute 32. So by the time we go down the straight, let's have a little look what it goes down to, a 31 and then a 30 by Aura. So currently about 3.8 seconds, something like that, 3.5, 3.8 seconds off the pace. But that is enough. We've only got 2 laps to go and we're 13 seconds clear of Fusa. So looking pretty good at this stage. And hopefully we can hold on and actually get a win with pitting. We did something very similar to this at Le Mans as well, when everyone started, I think, on dry tyres. I risk started on the intermediate tyres. I built up a massive gap and then they started to catch me up, but then it rained again and it all worked out nicely. And again, we took the risk in this one. We've gone for a pit stop and you can see there we're now onto the final lap with 9 seconds left. We've got plenty of time to take this nice and easy. And you can see they're probably not going to be able to catch us up. They are into the 29s now, so you can see they're catching us up quite fast. But as we come to the final part of lap 8, you can see that we've got a 5-second lead. They're not going to get close enough by looks of this. Just take it nice and easy, and we're going to take a really good strategy win here. Taking the risk, pitting off intermediates, being on the right tyre at the right time has really paid off. Obviously, we weren't going to pit again for hard tyres because pit lane loss is 50 seconds. You can see they're only gaining a few seconds a lap on us. So no point pitting for hard tyres in this race again. It was just stay out on the intermediates, take the pain, but take the win at the end of the day. That was a lovely win there from P5 or P6, I think we started. Ended up about 5 seconds ahead of them. You can see they had a great battle at the end behind us as well. Very, very close at the finishing line. But what an enjoyable race that was. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about that daily race C. Hopefully we'll get some more of these races in the future with dynamic weather, because I absolutely love them. Hope you do too. Bye everyone.